What's happening, boxing? What's happening, YouTube? Amp about that boxing. Today, we are basically going to be discussing, are the Saudi attempting to take over the sport of boxing? And if so, is this a good thing for boxing? So let's get into it. As we have been recently seeing, Mohammed bin Salman, Saudi prince, has been dumping large sums of cash into getting major events made in the sport of boxing. We've all been seeing it. We saw the Day of Reckoning. We saw the Joshua Usyk fight. We're getting Tyson Fury versus Usyk fight. These guys are actually giving us major events and they're paying for them. They've already reached out to try to attempt to speak with Al Heyman about possibly getting the Gervonta Tank Davis versus Devin Haney fight, and we all saw how that went. We all saw the 2 Ferrari videos, mine included. Everybody talking about Gervonta Tank Davis, somewhat disrespectful and petty response. I think the point and key here being made is everyone's always talking about money in boxing. As a fan of boxing, I don't give a shit how much Tank get for a fight. I don't care how much Devin get for a fight. None of this stuff matters to me as a true fan of the sport that's willing to pay my money to either go to the event or to pay-per-view the event. I just want to see the fights. The best fight the best. Shout out to Bruce motherfucking Vane. Bruce MF Vane. I checked the interview that he got off of Rise. You know, if you're not familiar with Rise, Coach Calvin Ford makes an appearance on there, I believe, like every Sunday, and they are very, very pro Gervonta Tank Davis channel. And not to say that they don't ask good questions, they do. The content on there is good. They have good guys come on there and the content is good. But the point being is that on this channel, there was an interview with Coach Calvin Ford and Coach Kenny Ellis. Both present, both answering these questions. And this guy asked the best question. Let me pull this up so you guys can see this little segment. And like I said, shout out to Bruce motherfucking Vane. I thought this was actually the most interesting part of this interview as well. I went through the whole interview and watched it. And this guy asked, well, I should say he didn't ask a question. He just made a comment. But it's a comment that sparked the best part of the interview. So let's check it out.
Movie King, appreciate the support, C. Urban Awares. It's time. Tank and Haney is the biggest fight right now. No one else will give you a bigger fight right now. Respect to everyone. All right, let me stop it right there. Let me ask this question. Because I don't think people understand why it's not the biggest fight. So, Coach, Cal, when they say Devin versus Tank is the biggest fight right now, right? What would be the reason why it's not the biggest fight?
Kenny just said it. I thought we already went down that thing.
I'm just trying. They ain't here, so I'm just trying to get back to it so they can understand.
Kenny, run it to him. What's the biggest fight, Kenny? Why it's not the biggest fight?
You can't have the tickets set at one price and then drop them below half price the closer you get to the fight. You know, you can't bait people in with the fake ass ticket sale.
Mm-hmm.
The house is full, but they ain't really pay the money that it costs, you know?
Let me go here, Senior. I don't know the numbers when they sit down and look at his last fight and ask the questions that be asked at the table. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I know the numbers, 40,000 people.
All right, guys. So there you have what was said up to a point. I want to focus on this part of the video, this part of the interview, where Coach Calvin Ford and Coach Kenny Ellis, coaches, trainers, are asked about Devin Haney versus Gervonta Tank Davis and why it's not the biggest fight, in their opinion. Now, y'all heard them laughing and talking about the money, the ticket sales, and all this. Y'all are coaches. Y'all are trainers. Can I say this all respect across the boards? Y'all know I was back in Calvin Ford with the situation that was going on. Glad he's back home to his family. All that aside, I'm separating Calvin Ford, the man, from Calvin Ford, the coach. Okay, we talking about Calvin Ford, the coach, right now. Calvin Ford, the coach, and Coach Kenny Ellis need to stay in their lane and coach. That's your job. It's not your job to say why Gervonta Tank Davis and Devin Haney ain't fighting. That's not your place. See, further down in this interview, go watch it. You can go watch it. You're going to hear Coach Calvin Ford actually say, I don't know the numbers and I don't know, when they're, sitting down and you know what I'm saying? He kind of goes into that he doesn't really know that. So why are you talking about it? And Kenny Ellis talking about he knows. And so what? When Sugar Ray Leonard fought Thomas Hearns, I've never heard any conversation about how much money they was making. That's why the fight wasn't being made. We all know it's part of negotiations, but it's not something that fans give a shit about. Real boxing fans, we don't give a shit about the money. That's fanboy shit. Let me describe what a fanboy is so nobody won't get ass hurt. No HMO insurance. Nobody won't get hurt and think that I'm calling them a fanboy. But I will let you know if you are one like this. If you support any fighter over the entire sport of boxing, you are a fucking fanboy. Go watch some mafia movies. Go watch some mob movies. Ain't no one man bigger than the mob. Ain't no one basketball player bigger than the sport of basketball. No one basketball player is bigger than the sport. No one baseball player. The sport gonna be here. Them dudes gonna be fucking gone. I've been saying this. So if you support your fighter more than you support the sport, you're a fanboy. Get out of here. You don't belong in this conversation. This is for grown men. Because grown men don't care about what's in another man's bank account or what's in his pocket. I don't care what Tank Davis make. It's not going to do nothing better for me to benefit me. I don't care what Shakur Stevenson's ticket sales was like. It's not helping me. All I care about is who they're fighting in the ring and how they perform in the sport of boxing. That's what a boxing fan is. Don't get the shit confused. If you're talking about anything except the sport of boxing, when you're arguing your point about your favorite fighter, then you are a fanboy. So y'all stay out of this conversation. It's not for you because real men don't want or care about that. That's why the Saudi taking boxing is the best thing that can happen. He'll clear the money situation up. Look, he tried to clear the money situation up between Tank and Devin Haney. Here, look, what do you want? 2 Ferraris, come on now. Quit playing with me. What do you really want? These guys aren't talking about that. And even so, Gervonta Tank Davis is a draw and making money for all the people around him. That's why all they keep talking about is money. Didn't he say, I'm not scared to fight this dude? I'll fight him at 140 with no clauses. I wish people would stop speaking for me, stop trying to talk for me. Didn't he just say all this shit like last week? And look, already, his team don't even listen to him. Coach Calvin Ford and Coach Kenny Ellis should be talking about nothing but how Gervonta Tank Davis is improving in the gym and in the ring. And what's coming up next for him, we not sure yet. We haven't picked our opponent, but we're going to give y'all something special. These are the type of things they should be saying. They should not be talking about money. And fans should not be caring enough to ask questions about money. Because that ain't doing shit for boxing but keeping you from getting your damn fights. How many times I got to keep telling y'all this? If you're a fanboy, I have no problem with you being a fanboy. But don't bring fanboy arguments to sport of boxing conversations. That's what I'm saying. We don't need that shit over here. Go to other weight classes. These are the things I'm trying to show y'all. I've never heard Inoue, oh no, well, I'm not going to fight him because the money's not right. I'm not going to go for the titles because the money's not right. I've never heard the late, great Emmanuel Stewart sit around anywhere and talk about money in an interview. Sit around and talk about how much money somebody was getting, and we're not going to make the fight because they don't want to give him no money. Even if it was happening, I never heard him talk about it. I've never heard Freddie Roach talk about it. This all follows this same little group of fighters. And I'm going to list that little group of fighters right now. It follows Gervonta Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez. This same group of fighters that they've been trying to build this false boxing game around. This fake ass, weird ass, everything changing in the game as boxing. They've been trying to push this shit through these fighters. And y'all just buying into it, the fanboys is. Real boxing fans, I don't give a shit about none of these guys' pockets. I don't. I could care less. Just make the damn fight happen. You're supposed to be fighting for the glory as well as the money. The glory's supposed to bring the money. Tank's proceeds are split up around everybody around him in amounts that probably really, really disadvantage him. Because see, when you come from nothing and somebody give you something, it's better than nothing. Then you start to realize how much people depend on you. That's why you see a lot of these fighters start shedding the people around them and changing. You don't see a lot of these young guys, even self-promoting. They still been trying to go through these old ass promoters with these old ways of thinking, pushing these old ass racial agendas and all this shit that real boxing fans really don't give a shit about. Like, we just want to see good ass fights. Y'all heard me say Gervonta Tank Davis's resume consists of 99.8% Hispanic fighters. Now, if they were all some of the greatest Hispanic fighters, that would be different. Anyway, let's get back to the matter at hand. So what I'm trying to say is, you didn't have old coaches stepping out of their lane, discussing finances and business in front of fans and reporters. This is why the sport of boxing is all fucked up right now. Because of this. Go to the heavyweight division. You don't hear them talk about it like this. Only where we at, where the black, quote, black Aboriginal American fighters are involved, then you start having this, quote, hip hop rap shit mixed in with the boxing way too much. Where you got the coaches running around with all their chains on, talking about, well, back in the days, old boy got slapped. You don't hear Tyson Fury or Alexander Usyk running around trying to dig up each other's past and find some shit that happened to them when they was kids. Come on. Y'all really going for this shit. As boxing fans, y'all going for this shit. I'm going to tell you like this. Coach Calvin Ford, good to have you home, all that. Coach Kenny Ellis, great having your man's back and everything. But y'all need to just coach. Stop talking about money. It makes y'all look bad. It makes y'all look real bad. It makes y'all look thirsty, and it makes y'all look bad. That's just hands down. It does. It looks distasteful and everything. It doesn't look like business when you discussing all of the backgrounds of the business in front of everybody. That's just not good business. It's not good business sense, and it makes you look weak. In all the people that use money and finance as the reason to not make a fight, it makes you look weak. Because to me, take the fight for the reputation and the money. You gotta give some and get some. So what this fight don't have may not gain you the most money you ever made, but it's gonna gain you the most respect to get you more money in the upcoming events, because now people gonna really, really believe in you. Coach Calvin Ford should only be pushing that narrative. My fighter's better. Why we're not getting the fight, I don't know. I am a coach. I'm a trainer. This is what I do. I don't handle the money. Y'all go talk to them about that. That's what Kenny Ellis and Calvin Ford should do. Y'all holla at me, man. That's all I got for this one. Amp about that boxing. Like, subscribe, hit them notifications, man. And I'll holla at y'all next time. Amp about that boxing.